Hi everyone, welcome back to the Sci-Fi Model Guy, and we are here with the new build series. Finally, I know it's been a little bit. Thank you very much for your patience, but today we're going to start building the Battlestar Galactica. This is a model kit from 1978 from a company called Monogram. I'm not even sure if they're still around anymore. So this kit has been waiting for 46 years to get onto my desk, and we're finally giving it the build that it deserves. But before we get to that, I do have a couple of housekeeping things and a really awesome announcement that we're going to make. So we're going to start this off by, first of all, I want to thank you all for subscribing and for watching the videos. The channel, as of this recording, has 710 subscribers, and I am just baffled by that. Thank you all so much who have subscribed and watched the videos so far. And with that, onward and upward, as they say, and the next target we're going for is 1,000. But to get there, I think once we do get there, it deserves a celebration. And for that, I'm going to be doing a giveaway. So between now and whenever we reach that 1,000 subscriber level, if you put in the comments, hashtag enterprise, okay, hashtag enterprise, you can be all caps or not, I think, you will be entered, and as long as you're a subscriber to the channel, you will be entered into a giveaway, which we are going to do this. So I purchased this a couple of weeks ago in planning for this. So this is a brand new 650 scale AMT USS Enterprise kit. And it's the 18-inch one. We've done a few of them here on the channel. And the lucky winner will get this model. I will do some live streams of building it. And you will also be able to name the ship if you want to name it something else, a custom name or one of the 12 names that comes with it. I do have the means to create decals for it to get any name that you'd like. So start thinking on that and decide what name you would like on there. So hashtag enterprise, everyone. Once we hit 1,000 subs on the channel, we'll be doing this kit. This exact one in my hands will be in the hands of someone out there, and that will have a navigation board and the blinking navigation lights. And if you want to have the nacelles lit up, kind of like in a hybrid fashion with the blue and the nacelles and the red caps, you just let me know and I'll be happy to do that. So hopefully that's exciting for everyone. I've been really looking forward to making this announcement, and I just wanted to get a little bit of past that threshold of 700, which we did. And thank you all who are the new subscribers of the channel. Really appreciate it and welcome aboard. The other little piece of housekeeping that we have here is that starting today, I will be showcasing a couple of the viewer mails people have sent in with their pictures of models they're working on. So let's get right to that. We're going to showcase 3 people who have sent in some stuff. And for that, we'll bring up the first picture here. And the first one is from Ian. And I'm going to read this little printout that I did while we do this. So Ian sent in some wonderful pictures of his train setup, and you can see here it is complete with a UFO hovering above the train tracks, and hopefully it's not abducting anybody or pulling any cows off the train. And this is all run with a 12-volt power supply that's powering the whole thing up, and it's really cool. I like trains. I've got some friends who have done them, even big ones out in their backyard and stuff. They're really cool. I wish I had the patience and the room to do them, but I put my efforts toward the sci-fi stuff. But Ian, this is really great, and I really like that you incorporated a little bit of science fiction in there and some fun with the UFO hovering around up there. And then this other set of pictures from Ian, he worked on a really nice Enterprise from the Kelvin timeline. And it's a really, really nice build, complete with the lights and everything. So good job, Ian, on that. Next here we have some pictures a picture rather from Richie. And this picture is amazing, and the story behind it is even more incredible. So back in the late 70s, Richie and a friend actually built probably the AMT 650 model. Richie, if you're out there, let us know in the comments what model it was, but it looks like it was the 650. I think that's the one they sold back then. and they did their own damaged constellation, very similar to the build that we did here on the channel a few months ago. If you haven't seen that, check that out. That was a fun little build. But what Richie did, he took it a step further. He and his friend built a makeshift special effects studio in their carport. And I'm assuming, Richie, that you might be across the pond. So for those of us here in the States, I believe it's just our garage. But it's really great. I mean, even though this picture's fuzzy, I can really tell that just how cool it looks. The angle of that shot is great. You can see the star field in the background. And that must have just been a lot of fun. And what a great memory for that. And I thank Richie for sharing that with us. Really well done. And if you have any other pictures of that, Richie, please send them over. Would love to show some other angles and other stuff. Or if you have other information on that little adventure that you had with your friend, it would be great. And the last group of pictures here that we're going to be showing today is from Jim, who sent me a couple of emails, and there are some really great pictures here. Jim did a fabulous job on Space Station K7. I took on that build in a video last year sometime, but Jim really seemed to understand the lighting a lot better than I did. If I were to redo the model, I definitely did learn some things, but it looks like Jim didn't have to learn the hard way. This lighting job is just superb. And I really do like the backdrop on there and the angles of these pictures. And you even incorporated that little Enterprise that comes with it. I built the one that came with my kit, but I didn't feature it in the video. And I really like that thing on there. It really shows the scale and definitely reminds me of that episode, The Trouble with Tribbles. So really good job on that, Jim. Thank you so much for that. And so let me take the pictures down here, and here I am now, and I'm not reading that paper anymore. Didn't really need it so much, though. It was just there to help. Okay, folks, so that's it. Now, this video here, aside from this long intro and the prize, the giveaway thing that we mentioned, it's going to be a pretty short video here. The Galactica is a very simple model. It's only about 7 or 8 pieces, and we're just going to drill some holes in it on this one, paint it, explain that, and then move on. So the next video after this will be lighting it, and I'll be figuring out how to illuminate the engine. So that's going to be something I'm going to have to think about. All right, everyone. So again, hashtag Enterprise to enter that giveaway once we hit 1,000 subscribers. So if you've been enjoying these videos and you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, now's the time to do it. So let's get us to over 1,000, and we will get this kit here into someone's lucky hands. Hopefully you consider yourself lucky. I'm looking forward to getting it out to you and working on it and showing those builds live stream. And it should be a lot of fun. All right, everyone. Thanks a lot. Happy days, happy modeling, and see you down the road. Take care. All right, everybody, I'm back at it here, and I'm happy to be joining you today as we unbox and talk a little bit about the model that we're doing next, the Battlestar Galactica. Now, I want to thank anyone who was involved in the little poll that I posted up. We only had about 9 results on there, but that's okay. And I was just putting a choice between the Galactica, the Rio Grande from Deep Space Nine, and then there's a Studio Series TIE Fighter that was just released not too long ago. And so I kind of put it up to a vote to see which kit you all wanted to see next. And the Galactica won by a hair, and I'm thrilled about that because I was kind of hoping this one would win, because I got this in an unboxing video, if you happen to see it, and I bought this from eBay. This is a vintage kit. I don't know the year, but we will take a look at the instructions and see if we can't figure that out. But it's definitely at least from the 80s, maybe even 1979. And I've been wanting this kit for my whole life. The model store that I went to when I grew up and is still there, it's called Smith Brothers Hobby Shop out there in Northridge, California. Great shop. I actually did a little video on that store as well. It's a nice place. They've got one of these hanging from their roof that someone gave to them, and it's just gorgeous. We, however, are going to light this one. We're going to put the little lighting. Now, the Galactica didn't have very much going on with in the terms of lights in the model and on the show, which is fine. It's going to be just nice and subtle, and we're going to light this sucker up. So let's take the box out now. I did unbox this a little bit on a video before, and if you want to see that, it was just me being excited about getting in the mail. So here we are. We've got the instructions here, and let's see if we can find a year. So this is copyright 1978, Universal Studios. That was the copyright of the show. I'm not sure that means that when this kit was made, but it definitely, with it, this paper is yellowed, and I wouldn't be surprised. So it's an old kit, but it's fine because the details on this thing are just amazing. I'm going to hold this up to the camera a little bit so you can see. I mean, there is just exquisite detail. And this is a long model, 17.5 inches from bow to stern. And it's just got this great detail on here. And I think when we're done with this, it's going to look like it could be used for the show. So it would be interesting to find out how big the original model was. But yeah, so let's take this stuff out. So there's the main hull. And then over here, we've got the landing bays, or the arms of the ship, or the legs rather. Let me see, this goes like that, I believe. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to figure that out. They're probably interchangeable there. So there's another one. And then we've just got a few pieces. It's a very, very simple kit. This looks like it's a side piece. Here is the back for the exhaust, or the thrusters there. This is some other side pieces here. More detail, very, very minimal. It's interesting that they molded this in silver. I wonder why they did that, because the ship itself is almost white. So here's some sprues. I did not do that. This came this way. So whoever owned this at first thought about building it and then changed their mind. I can tell you, I identify with that. How many of us out there have kits that we've opened? So very simple instructions, 1 to 8, and then there's some steps on the back. So 11 steps total, and it's got a nice little display base here, which is like an asteroid or a moon or something like that, and that's really cool. And then here are some decals that it came with. Now, I'm definitely not going to use these, because if I put these in water, they will probably just disintegrate into dust. But what I am going to do is I'm going to scan this on my computer, and I have some paper, decal paper, and you can buy that at Hobby Lobby or anywhere. I have some stuff that's made by testers, and you just print it on a regular inkjet printer like you would anything else, and then you just cover it with a clear coat, matte clear coat, about 3 coats of those over the course of a day or so, and you're good. You can put it in water and get the decals off, and it works great. I've done that for several things, so I'm definitely going to hold on to this, put this back in the box, and we'll put these away here. So I'll keep out these main pieces here, and let's talk a little bit about how we're going to paint this stuff. So one thing I'm going to point out here, so with the lighting, we are going to light this. Now, if you recall back to the show, the ship itself didn't have that many lights or windows on it, and that's a good thing. It adds a little bit of realism as far as I'm concerned, and the other thing is it's going to be less work. So that's going to be good. And the thing I really like about this kit is I'm not going to need to light block this, so at least I think. So I've got my handy flashlight here, and I'm going to put it underneath here. Let me turn off the light. And if you see here, I cannot see the light coming through here. In most kits, I would be able to see through, and we have to light block it inside with black and all that kind of stuff. But this kit's very thick plastic, and it's like silver, so no light leaks at all, or light spots rather. Might have a light leak to contend with, but we take care of that with putty and everything. But super thrilled about that. So, and also we're not going to have too many lights going on in here, and that will reduce the potential for light leaks. So we're going to probably have a set of 3 on each side here, 3 or 6 here, and a couple in the back. I'm going to have to figure out how to light the engines in the back, probably some very bright LEDs, but we will cross that bridge when we come to it. Now, as for the lighting on the inside, for the window lights, we're going to use some warm LED strip lighting here, and this is the same kind of strip lighting I used to do the Enterprise. The warm white lights tend to just look a little nicer. They look a little bit more realistic. They're a little softer, and it's not as glaring when you turn it on. The engines will be a super bright light. Again, we'll think about how we're going to do that. And then I'm considering lighting up I'm definitely going to light up the landing bays. Now on the show, when they with a rear shot and then you see the thing, there was these little blinking guiding lights, like it would blink 1, 2, 3, 4, like it's leading someone in, like you might see on an aircraft carrier or something like that. I don't have a circuit for that, and I don't want to really invest in that for this one. It's a small little thing. I'm sure some people have done it and it looks great, but I am going to not do that. But I'm definitely going to light it up in there, and we might. Who knows? I might do some styrene in here and paint a little landing lines here, just maybe 2 yellow strips. I'll have to go look in the footage on the show and see, maybe there's just like a little guiding lines there. But I can definitely put some kind of thing in there to the lights in here will illuminate that and give you a little bit of detail in here. That would be kind of cool. And we'll do that. So let's discuss the paint scheme that we're going to go with here as I put these away. So I am going to go on the outside of this with a insignia white. And this is a really nice white for very bright starships because it's not super white. There's a touch of gray to it, and it will lend itself to shadows pretty nice. Now I'll just take I have some surface primer here, and I'll take the lids off and we'll show you, and maybe the camera can pick it up, maybe it won't. We'll zoom in and we'll see if you can tell. So here's the insignia white and here's the primer. So the camera is not really picking it up very well, but the insignia white is just a touch darker. So we're going to go with that. And there's a second step to that, which the thing about modeling, especially when there's a lot of detail on here, and the detail on this, again, this kit is very well done. I'm just impressed with how much detail is on here. The thing with model kits, when you get to something this scale, you don't see shadows picking up so well, so it doesn't look. It looks almost like a picture. You don't see that texture, those 3 dimensions. So you got to kind of cheat a little bit or assist those shadows. And there's you can do that with here. So I've got here this Tamiya. Let me zoom out here because we're right in your face here. So here's the Tamiya panel accent color, and this is just very thin down paint. And I always have a hard time with this. It smudges on me. I've just maybe not done it enough, but I know a lot of people that do military craft, airplanes especially. This panel lining is great because it gets into these little grids there and darkens it and gives you that kind of an illusion of a shadow, or it just accentuates it, makes it look like there's more of a shadow than really is. I might give it a try. I just haven't had very good luck with it myself, and it's just probably lack of experience. I also have this here. This is just a gray version of that make it as harsh. I will be using the black probably. Now, the other thing I'm considering doing is after I prime all this, I'm thinking of maybe giving this a coat in black, and not a super thick coat, but I'll prime it and then just hit black around so I can get some of the black in here, and maybe that will serve to stand out, to give a little bit of a contrast there. And of course I would hopefully that black, a little bit of that black would come through this insignia white a little bit. So that's probably going to be the approach I'm going to do. If it doesn't look good or doesn't work, I won't even see the black. I won't even know. But we're going to go with that approach. It's just a hunch of mine. I don't know if it's ever been done. Probably has, but you know me, I like to experiment a little bit and see what happens. But regardless of that, this ship is one of my favorite ships of all science fiction. It's just a cool design. It's functional and it's basic, and but it just looks cool. It almost looks like an animal or an insect or something, but it's just neat. It has a lot of character to it. The Galactica has definite character. All the Battlestar design did that. In fact, I will be right back here as I go and get another kit that I've done. I don't think any of you have seen this, but here is the Galactica from the remake of the show. And they really did a good job of modernizing it, or updating it rather. In a lot of ways, this design looks less sleek as the original. It has the same shape and the same idea, but I know on this show they did no lights. The ship, it was just like a submarine or something, which was very interesting that they chose that, because it was very practical. And it makes a lot of sense. Like if we were to really design a big ship to go into space, we probably wouldn't be putting windows in there, because windows can break and all that, and you want this thing to be sealed. So that was kind of a neat thing that they did. Now I don't know if you can see here on we'll talk about this Galactica a little bit. I weathered this thing with a salt and hairspray technique. So I don't know if you can see. It looks like this has been flaking. It's kind of a silver thing going on, and what you do is you just paint a base color on there. So I have like a steel base color, this aluminum gloss, and I let that dry, and then you take some hairspray and spray it on. Then you sprinkle salt, just table salt, all over it, and then you let that set. Paint it your top coat color, and then you take a brush, toothbrush, or some kind of a light brush with a little bit of water, and you just brush it off, and those salt things fall off, and that exposes the little flecks of the undercoat on there. It's almost like the salt acts as a mask, and it gives this really cool effect. And I don't know if you can see that on the camera here. Yeah, you can kind of see it, but that was the choice I made for this, to give it look like it just been hit by thousands of little meteors and rocks as it went through space. So yeah, I just wanted to show that little other Galactica to you that I did. I did that model a long time ago, and there's some flaws with it. It's not lit or anything. So yeah, that's the plan for this one here. So I am going to pause this here, and what I'm going to have to do is definitely go and give all these pieces a nice bath. This stuff has been sitting around and probably collecting some dust and oils from people touching it and everything over the years. So I'm going to go give it a wash in the sink with some lukewarm water and some detergent. And I've got a nice, kind of a easy scrub brush, and I'll just kind of get rid of that years of dust and everything and get this thing dried. And then tomorrow I'll come out and prime it, and then we will think about where to put the lights and all that stuff, and then how also are we going to get the wiring down. I might have to create a custom tube. The stand that the thing comes with may not have be able to have a wire go down, so we'll have to use a here's a hole there. We'll figure that out. I've got some hollow brass tubes that we can use to get that down. But this is going to be really fun, you guys. I'm really excited. I'm glad to be back out here in the shop. And things have just, I had a little bit of a health thing going on. And then also I started my other YouTube channel for movie reviews, which has been a lot of fun. So glad to be back out here. And we'll see you in the next segment here as we prime this thing and see what the results are with that black paint idea that I have. So we'll be right back. All right, so just a quick little supplemental video here before I go over and start painting this thing. I did forget to talk about the windows on here and how I'm going to approach those. So actually I already did approach them, and I just took the trusty old Dremel here with a very thin drill bit there, and I put it on about speed 6 and about there, and just went through and drilled little holes in here about the approximate places where the windows are on the show. I did actually make one little mistake here. This group right here actually does not have windows in there on the show, but it was too late, so I just went with it. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference, but for the most part, the windows are where you're going to expect to see them. So I'm just going to turn on the flashlight here, and you can kind of see where they are. There's some here, a little bit here. Not too many on this ship. A little bit here on the bridge, and there's also a couple of pieces here that go on this layer. There's these little thin strips, so there are some lights in there which are still on the sprue. So I just drilled them in on this area there. It's kind of hard to put the flashlight without blinding you on the camera, but you can kind of see there. So the only unfortunate thing about that is that these windows here are round, and the windows on the show were kind of little rectangles. I just don't have drill bits small enough to do that, or files. I was going to actually try a file like here and get in there and just try to make some of these into rectangles, but it was just going to be too difficult. I just don't have the skill or the tools that I would need to do that. And if I tried to widen these things with the drill bit, I would have just chunked this thing. So I'm going to just go with what I have. So I still have not yet figured out how I'm going to light here. I'm probably just going to cut some holes, bore some of these out, and have very bright lights behind. I might look online to see what other modelers have done, but this kit is so old, it's really kind of hard to find anything. So I know I'll figure it out. I usually come up with some kind of a solution or another, and it should be just fine. So the only other thing here to talk about real quick while I'm at it, I did manage to print my decals. So on here, I'll bring it up to the camera. You can see here are the Galactica, and then this is just one red circle that goes somewhere on the top, I think right here. And so I just did 4 of those because I have the sheet. This is a half letter. It's 8.5 inches wide by 5.5 long, so it's half of a piece of paper. And because these things are so expensive, well, not super expensive, but they're not super cheap. You only get a handful in the packet. So whenever I do this, I print plenty of what I'm doing because I might as well use up the room. This font here, I think it's called Present Sans. So I tried to scan the original sticker, which I showed earlier, and I'll grab that right here. Here we go. So this sticker here I scanned, but it was a little bit too hard for me to use because it wasn't super accurate scan. I don't have like a industrial strength scanner, and then also this background here that's on is slightly blue. So when I printed it, it would have been blue. So what I did was I actually found a really neat website where you can just put in a word into it or a picture of a word, and it will find the font for you. It kind of identifies it. It's kind of like a neat AI website. So I used that website, and if you can see here, it came out pretty darn close, and I was very happy with it. So I just downloaded the font and put it into my vector program, and it worked. So the sizing is pretty decent. It's a little bit smaller than that, but I'm happy with it. So I've got some nice replica decals here that I'll use. So after this dries up a little bit more, I'll spray this with the 3 coats of clear coat or like a lacquer clear coat. That'll seal it, and then we can go ahead and use it. So, but no rush on that. But I wanted to show that because I thought that was pretty cool. Oh goodness, I just put this away and I didn't talk about what this is. So these here are, this is a picture from the landing bay. So as the ships are coming into land on the legs of this thing along here, on the show, if you're watching this video, you're probably familiar with the show. So the ships approach from behind the ship and they land in this little area here. So I do want to light up the landing area. I want to light that up, and I was trying to figure out how to do that without getting too crazy, buying circuits and little tiny lights that go in there. There are some great creations. People have actually made dioramas of that, and they're incredible. Or they've made even big mock-up models of this thing. I don't have that kind of time or money, so what I decided to do was print these as a decal. So this is the view as if you're coming in to land on the ship. And I'm going to cut I just made different sizes because I wasn't sure how they were going to fit in there. I'll probably end up using this one, the smaller one. But I did extra, just because. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of clear styrene that's white that the light will go through, and I'll put these decals over that and then light it from behind with a bright LED, and that will illuminate this and just give the illusion that the landing bay is in there. So I think that will be a kind of cool little low-tech solution to this. So if I put this and I put the light behind it, it will illuminate it. So let me see if I can, it'll kind of, this isn't a good example, but once it's in there, and if you were to look inside there and it's lit up with a soft, warm light, it should look pretty good. At least I hope. But at least it'll be something, and it won't be just a clear tunnel that you just see through. So I don't want that to happen. So that one I thought might be a pretty cool addition. So I think we'll see how that comes out. I think it will be fine. So, all right, that's the supplement video on here. So I'm going to take these over now that I've drilled out all the holes and I cleaned everything up. Gave this thing a nice bath last night, and then got all the little extra plastic out there, and we'll be good to go. I just have to bore out the engine section, but I can do that at another time. So we'll be priming this in Tamiya. I'm going to actually prime it with the Tamiya white primer here. Then I'm going to coat it with some black, black Tamiya paint. And from there, then I'll cover it with the Insignia white. And I'm hoping that the black undercoat will give that nice shadow look that I'm trying to accomplish. But we shall see. So, all right, everyone, I will be back. The next section will be, the paint will be done. I'm not going to record any of that happening. I think you've all seen me do that enough times. So, see you in a moment. All right, so just a little segment here. I wanted to show the effect of the black paint that I put on. So there were a couple of coats of primer, got the ship pretty nice and primed up, and then I went through with a black Tamiya matte color, just regular Tamiya black, and luckily I barely had enough to kind of finish it. I wish I could have put a little bit more on some parts, like right here and over here on this front of the launching bay or landing bay. But it should be fine. So I got most of it. And the intention of this, again, is to give a little bit of illusion of shadow and a little bit of depth when I put the Insignia white over that. So that's right here. I've got a few cans of this. So we're going to put this on top and we're going to see how it looks. So just wanted to show this about how the level I ended up putting. So hopefully if the ship looks really good, then we'll see the how this did. Okay, see you in a minute. Okay, everyone, so forgive the sound quality on this. I don't have the microphone plugged in. I'm going to pan around a little bit. She's all painted up now, and it looks like the black undercoat kind of worked, kind of didn't. I'm going to zoom in here. I do think it did some good in some of these areas, maybe down here. It's really hard to tell because I don't have anything to compare it against. But all in all, I am happy that I did do it. It added a nice flat base and gave me something nice for this insignia white to go over. So I'm just panning around here really slowly. And just look at the detail on this kit. This is just something we don't see anymore. And, this is back from the days where, the theory is, when you're building science fiction shit, just tack a lot of stuff on the top and make it look cool. And that's kind of what they did. And you know what? It works. You had some pipes, you had some panels, you had some round things and some rectangle things, and just it all comes together in a really nice assembly. So I'm just panning around here on these different pieces. So the paint, the model took the paint really well. I'm glad I washed it with the warm water and dish soap, and then gave it a good rinse and let it dry overnight. That really helped. And then we put good 2-3 coats of primer on there. I didn't spare any. I used almost an entire can. Again, I want this to be perfect. I have to really take care of this. This is such an old kit. Not that it's fragile, it's just rare. And I really want to do this right, even though it's simple. I'm not going to rush any of this. And then I also used a can and a half of paint for the insignia white. I really held the can back from the kit and did many coats, probably 5 coats on this thing, just to get it just right. I didn't get too close, so I'd have no runs or anything. And normally I'm not as cautious, but again, you can see here there's no spray bubbles or anything like that on here. So all that said, though, the black didn't quite have the effect that I had hoped. Maybe a little bit it does down in here, like these things. But I think I am going to go ahead and use the panel line stuff from Tamiya that we showed earlier in the video. And for that, I am going to definitely do some research on that, because I don't have very much experience with that stuff. And the times I've used it, it doesn't come out quite how I want it to. So I'm going to have to really look into that. So if any of you watching has experience doing panel line stuff, please throw me a hint or a link to a video or something so that I can learn how to do this right. And so we can get this bird flying and looking at how she's supposed to. So, all right, everyone, that's it. I'm going to zoom out here, and that is the end of this video. The next time we meet, I'll be doing the lighting, and we'll show you the strategy that we're going to attack that with. And then I will also, by that time, figure out how I'm going to light this. This is the engine assembly here. It's going to be kind of a bright white blue, and these 4 nodules, and then that little one in the middle is, I think, red. I will have to reference some photos to make sure. But yeah, so it's going to be a short series here, folks. So maybe one more video just to do the lighting, and then a reveal after that. We'll see. Okay, that is it for now. Thank you very much. And again, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. And remember to hit #Enterprise in the comments for a chance to win the 650 builds series that we talked about in the intro. Talk to you soon.